Okay, we're back. Hopefully you can hear things. And I did have my phone turned all the way down, so that could have been part of the problem. But hopefully you'll be able to hear me now. You can hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? So as we're mentioning, it is day 2 of my challenge of Alive a Day for the month of May. And I'm going to be talking about a little bit about menu planning today. I did introduce the vintage cookbook that started me on my collections of vintage cookbooks, which is this one that was printed in 1969. It was originally printed in 1947. It is not my oldest cookbook. My oldest cookbook is actually from the late 1800s. I know, that's crazy. But we'll be visiting some of my vintage cookbooks over the course of this video series. So anyways, I personally don't like to meal prep. And the reason for that is I like fresh food. I have discovered that ever since my surgery, I am just not a fan of processed foods. I will eat something that's processed that I used to adore, like canned chili. I hate to admit it. I really used to love Chef Boyardee, and now I eat it and all it tastes is canned. And, you know, like V8, I used to just, you know, oh, it's 35 calories, it's my vegetable, it's great. I would eat a V8 and I'd be like, oh my God, this is so gross. Because all I'm tasting is a can. That's all I'm tasting. I would much rather boil up some vegetables, puree it, juice it, and drink it that way. Because it's just so much tastier. I don't know. My palate has just gotten very, very different from since I have had the surgery and I've really, really cleaned up my eating. So, anyways, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is your pre-bariatric life versus your post-bariatric life. And even if you haven't had bariatric surgery and you just want to diet, there's a couple of things that you need to know. Number one, you can survive not eating 3 meals a day. 3 meals a day was actually devised as a marketing scheme to, to get people to buy more food. You know, believe it or not, back, people used to eat like a very large lunch or a very large breakfast or a very large lunch and a very, very light dinner. That's what they do down in Mexico. In other parts of the world, breakfast is almost non-existent and they eat a huge lunch and then a very, very light dinner. And there's an old adage, eat like a king for breakfast, a prince for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. The objective, of course, is to be light before you go to bed because you don't want to have this big old huge meal and you're sitting there trying to digest it all night. That's just no fun at all. So your objective is to have kind of your lightest meal at night, and if it's low carb, even better, because your body is going to be happier working on that kind of a meal versus a very, very heavy sitting on your stomach, weighing you down. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are meals that you eat where you feel fantastic after you ate them, and there's meal that you eat that you feel horrible. So whenever you eat one of those meals that makes you feel horrible, don't eat that meal again. Go to something else. Eat something else that makes you feel good, because the more food that you eat that makes you feel good, the more you're going to feel good, and you're going to be happy about your food choices. So before you have surgery, this is a standard American dinner plate. It is bigger than my head. It is a standard American dinner plate, okay? And you would eat this, and it would be a big old chunk of meat, and then you'd have like maybe a salad, and you'd have like a starch, like a potato, or you would have rice, or you'd have something like that. And then you would have something else, maybe a piece of bread, maybe a cup of milk, maybe some cheese, Lord knows what. But, you know, this big old huge plate, you'd have a lot of food on this plate, okay? And this is a cereal bowl. This is a cereal bowl. And the cereal bowl, or actually it's a ramen bowl, this is a lot of food. This is a lot of food. So post-bariatric, you're lucky if you can eat this, okay? So let's do a comparative. You see? This is about 1 cup, and you're lucky. 1 cup, I can do maybe almost all of this, depending on what it is. But for the most part, I can only eat about max I can handle on 1 meal. So that's not very much. And then this is my plate. So this is my plate. This is the plate, this is my standard plate. See the difference? See the difference? Because one of the things is that we've been conditioned that we have to eat everything on our plate. So if our plate is this big, we're going to eat everything on this plate. And what happens? It go right here. It go right here, right? But if we have a little tiny plate and we eat little quantities, it just goes right here. And then your body uses it, especially if everything on this plate is nutrient rich and good for you. Okay, so if this is a plate of macaroni and cheese, then this plate will go right here, right? But if it's a plate of greens and some vegetables, a little bit of protein, then that is going to do what it's meant to do, which is be the building blocks to having a wonderful, healthy you. Okay, very, very, very important. So when it comes to meal planning, I like to use a meal planner. This is actually a weekly planner. Josh got this for me. It's magnetized. I can stick it on the fridge if I want. And I'll come up with a plan of attack. Now, one of the things that I've discovered is the most people that are extremely successful with weight loss plan. They write everything down, they come up with a plan, and then they execute the plan. Okay? So one of the things that got us fat in the first place was just being willy-nilly about food. I'm just like willy-nilly about food. Oh my God. Oh, I'm tired. I just went to the grocery store for an hour. I just spent $200 worth of food. I'm just gonna pick up like this rotisserie chicken. And then everybody will have some rotisserie chicken when I get home. Too tired. Or I've been at work all day. I'm too tired. I'll just hit the golden chick on the way home, or whatever, you know, or whatever. You make yourself a million and one excuses because you don't want to freaking cook. I get it. I totally get it. But if you have a plan of attack, then you remember, oh yeah, I have the ingredients. I spent $200 worth of groceries. I need to take care of this. This is good. All is good. I'm gonna make what I have planned. The other thing too is when you plan, then you don't go crazy when you go to the grocery store. Honestly, the best thing that I've ever discovered is shopping curbside. That's where you go to the website for the grocery store, you tell them what you want to buy, you can keep an eye on how much money you're spending, and then you don't come out of there going, oh my God, all I wanted was some aluminum foil, and now I've got a grocery cart full of stuff that I know I'm not going to be able to eat or make or prepare enough of it because I've got 3 people in my house and I'm still buying groceries as if I'm feeding 10. You got to change your mindset because that's the only way you're going to get skinny, you're going to get the weight off, and you're going to be successful. Okay, so back to meal planning. So the first thing that you need to think about is, how much food do I really need? Now, one of the most amazing nutritionists that I ever spoke to said that you really can get by with 2 cups a day. Okay, so 1 cup of fruit and then 1 cup of vegetables, fully packed. So like, we're talking this twice a day. That's what this girl ate, but she was about 4'3", maybe 100 pounds, if that, and she thought she was fat. I'm kind of like, okay. But physiologically, your body actually is really good at keeping you alive. So if you're only eating this much, your body has backups of backups of backups of backups to keep you alive. So if you're a 250-pound woman and you think that you are going to starve and die if you don't eat 3 meals a day, you're not going to die. Trust me, you're not going to die. Because after my surgery, I was on liquids for a month prior to my surgery and liquids for like the first month after my surgery, and I thought I was going to die. But I didn't. But I lost a high school cheerleader. Yeah, so you got to remember that. So Lynette, can you hear me now? 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 Hey, Sherry Lynn, thank you very much for joining me. So I'm going to keep on rambling and I'm going to talk about menu planning. Okay, so for me, for my standard breakfast, I like to make a couple of different things. So one is a loaded oatmeal, and that sticks to my bones. That makes me super happy. And when I say a loaded oatmeal, it's got nuts and seeds, because you know the Penny song, nuts and seeds are good for me. And then I have dried fruit in there, or I have a cut up apple, or I have all kinds of really, really good things in there that up the density and make it a lot more nutritious than just oatmeal, which is just carbs. Okay. Another breakfast that I have is I'll have half a bagel, a half a whole wheat bagel, and then I'll spread it with a little bit of cream cheese. I'll add some tomatoes and onions and some lox, because salmon is really, really good for you. It's got a lot of really healthy ingredients. You know, it's got healthy omega-3 fatty acids, I think is the, you know, what my brain is coming up with right now. But anyways, I also like it, and it's really super tasty. And put an avocado on top of that, and just ups, you know, really ups it and makes it a lot better for you than a slice of pizza that your coworker brought to work. So remember, if you don't plan to succeed, then you plan to fail. So do you want to win or do you want to lose? So plan, make a plan. So one of the things too that I've discovered is standardizing. So make the same thing all the time until you get sick of it. Move on to something else. Diversify what you eat, but make sure that you always eat the rainbow. Okay. So right now I'm doing green smoothies a day. And green smoothies, I'm doing those for breakfast. Now, the objective of a green smoothie is not to fill you up. So it's not like steak and potatoes and eggs and toast that, you know, your farmer meal that, you know, used to be the greatest thing for the turn of the century. What a green smoothie is designed to do is just give you nutrients, because it goes straight through your stomach, goes straight to your small intestine, and your body starts going, building blocks, yeah, okay, let's start. You know, I've got some vitamin C here, I've got some vitamin A, you know, I've got some of the B vitamins, I'm a happy camper, I've got some protein, I can do some stuff. And so what I like to do when I make green smoothies is I'll do a green smoothie one day, and then I'll do a red smoothie one day. So green and red and green and red and green and red. So like a green smoothie, the one that I made today, I had a Granny Smith apple in there. I had some banana. I had almond milk. I had a little bit of coconut milk. I had some mint. I had some celery, and I had some spinach and a little bit of mango, because that upped the flavor and made it a little bit more tasty. And so, but for a red smoothie, what I would do is have a banana in there, because you always need to have a banana. If you don't have a banana in there, it's just bleh. And bananas are full of fiber. They're super good for you. They've got potassium in it, which is really good for your bloodstream, and helps your blood clot, helps you be happy. It's like, yeah, it's really, really good. So, so for a red smoothie, I would do a banana. I would, again, do the spinach. I do some cherries. I do some strawberries. I do some blueberries. And you can even throw a little beet in there if you want. And all of those are really, really good antioxidants, and those keep you really, really super healthy. So, you know, the green smoothies give you, you know, your vitamin C, your chlorophyll, and all that other good stuff. Your red smoothies give you your antioxidants. So if you mix them up and eat a variety of smoothies, then you're getting more nutrition. That's really, really good. So that's a standard breakfast for me, is a smoothie. And if I'm like done with smoothies, then I'll make myself one of my other standards, which is a parfait or loaded grits, or the lox and bagel. So, and then for lunch, I try to have something that has a lot of vegetables to it. So like I'll either make a salad, or I like to make salad in a jar, and I'll be making one of those in a later video. I might have leftovers from work. A lot of times I'll make myself a little couture, or an adult lunchable tray. So I'll have some cut up fruit. I'll have some cut up luncheon meats. I'll have some cut up cheese or something like that, and then I'll have some cut up carrots, or I'll have some other vegetables readily available, and make myself a little coleslaw or something like that. I just have a mixed variety of food, and then for dinner I eat very, very, very light. So just like a tiny, tiny bit of chicken and maybe a little bit of vegetables, and that's it. And sometimes I'll have beef. Like tonight, I have taco meat thawed, and I'll be making tacos, and I'll be serving that with a chiffonade of cabbage and some sliced up tomatoes as well. And that will make a very nice dinner. I might open a can of beans, because I don't have any beans made right now. But so when it comes to meal planning, what you need to do is you need to think about what you want to serve. what you have in your freezer right now. I've got a bunch of chicken in my freezer. So I'll probably take some of the chicken out and I'll put it in the refrigerator so it's thawed for me to cook it tomorrow night when I get home. So, and that's what I did with the chili meat, is I took it out of the freezer so that it'll be thawed by tonight when I'm ready to cook it. So back in my day, or like us boomers, we used to leave the meat out on the counter overnight or all day. Like we'd get ready for work, we'd take the meat out of the freezer, we'd put it on the counter. When we came home, it was thawed and we would cook it. And then everything got toxic and everybody was like, oh my God, you'll get salmonella if you do it that way. Yeah, you cook it enough, you're not going to get salmonella. Okay? You cook it enough, you're not going to get salmonella. So, anyways. So that's the basics of meal planning. If you want, you can go on Pinterest. You can find all kinds of meal plans. You type in 1300 calorie diet if you want. But what I highly recommend is making yourself a meal plan based on foods you really like. So if you absolutely hate Brussels sprouts, why are you going to force yourself to eat Brussels sprouts? If you absolutely love eating carrots, eat carrots. If you like potatoes, eat potatoes. Okay, I personally like boiled potatoes or little tiny baby potatoes, and I like to bake them and then or roast them with a little bit of garlic and a little bit of olive oil. You don't need to put butter on them. You don't need to put sour cream on them. You don't need to put chives on them. You don't need to put bacon bits on them. You can just eat those little buggers just like all nice and roasty and happy. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you eat a variety of potatoes, like red potatoes and golden potatoes, and purple potatoes, you actually get a lot more for your buck than just eating a friggin' russet. Nothing wrong with russets, but russets are really, really good for potato salad and scalloped taters and mashed potatoes, because that's what, and french fries. That's what a russet was really bred to do. So, but your more denser potatoes are really good for like potato salad and stuff like that. And you can make calorie nice side dishes that you can, use sour cream instead of using mayonnaise, or you can use yogurt, or there's a million ways, and there's 100 million diets and diet recipes and things that you can follow on the internet, and I'm not going to tell you what to cook, but you know what you like. So I highly recommend that when you meal plan around what you like. Now, I know thousands of people have always bitched and bitched, but my family won't eat it. And it's just like, you know what? This is some of the sainted words of my mother. From my mom. Yes, my sainted mom. She used to say, "I'll sit there and starve." That's what my mom used to say. There was no messing with my mom. If you complained, you said, "I'll sit there and starve." So, don't sit there and starve. Come up with a meal plan based on things that you really, really, really like. So, anyways, so that's it. So if you want to watch your budget, I highly recommend using Curbside and stay out of the grocery store, because the grocery store is designed to make you buy things. And we all know that, because you go into the grocery store and you're like, oh, that's on sale. Oh, squirrel, and you get all distracted and you start buying stuff. And it's like, oh, if I buy this, I get this. Oh my God. But hey, you buy it online. You're not distracted by all of that stuff. And you discover, did I really buy 3 bags of chips? No. Use Curbside. Curbside will help you with your budget. And, it's totally up to you. If you like doing meal prep, then meal prep. If you don't like doing meal prep, don't meal prep. We're all individuals, and there's no one size fits all. And there's one thing that I will tell you after being 40 years a professional dieter, is that there is no diet that fits any one person. But I will tell you that one of the best ways to lose weight is a green smoothie for breakfast, a big old salad for lunch, and a very, very, very small light meal for dinner. Really small light meal for dinner. And by small, we're talking this. Okay? We're not talking this. Okay? So remember, you are not going to die if you don't have 3 meals a day. You're not going to die if you only eat a cup at a time. If your BMI is in the overweight or obese range, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. It's okay. You can get away with not eating 3 meals a day. You really can. So, anyways, that's my little talk for today. So there we go. So we have a day for the month of May, and that's day 2. A little bit about menu planning and how Penny does things, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, thanks for joining me. We'll talk to you later. Bye.